After Chuck Clark's disappointing knee injury, the New York Jets signed former Green Bay Packer Adrian Amos to address the safety position. So what can we expect from him in 2022? Let's take a look at the All-22 and we'll find out together. Let's go. What is going on, everybody? It's Luke here from Play Like a Jet, and we are back in the film room with another All-22 breakdown, and today we're looking at Adrian Amos. He's come in to replace Chuck Clark, and he's going to be the third safety in nickel and dime packages. The reason for that, well, his coverage has definitely declined over the last couple of seasons, but what he did extremely well was buzz down into the box and play as that strong safety. These kind of looks you can see on the screen are where he excelled, and that's where we're going to start the video. Here's a fantastic rep against the Green Bay Packers. You can see him left-hand side of their formation. He's going to be on the move, buzzing down in man coverage against the running back. Mac Jones takes his check down, but look at Adrian Amos in the flat. He does a fantastic job. His tackling is a strength of his game, and that's why he excels in the box as well. But what I like about this from Amos is how he steadies his feet. This is a huge issue I have with a lot of safeties that miss tackles, including a guy like Jordan Whitehead. Amos breaks it down. Look how he slows his feet down into contact, hit and stick, and brings him down for no gain. A fantastic job, sticks with his assignment, and is really good here when he's coming up, reading and reacting, and making plays in the flat. That's the best part of Adrian Amos's game. This second snap against the Lions might have been my favourite on tape from Adrian Amos. You can see him buzzing down to the line of scrimmage, left-hand side of the Packers formation, but it really emphasises his feel and instincts in zone coverage. As we let this roll, take a look at the stacked wide receivers. Number 11 turns here like he's going to get a wide receiver screen. Adrian Amos diagnoses that, and then look at his helmet turned to the inside to read the quarterback. Once he sees that Jared Goff's going to play action here and get out to the bootleg, he makes his move. He's aggressive at the point of attack against that first receiver, sheds, and then gets in the backfield and makes the tackle on the screen. This is a fantastic job, first of all, having the wherewithal and the football IQ to diagnose the play, but then not to shoot early, to make sure he gets that secondary cue that Jared Goff is going to get the ball out to that wide receiver screen, and Adrian Amos closes fantastically well. Beat the contact, slow your feet down, and once again make a tackle for loss. This is where he really still excels. Some of the issues came in too high looks, and that's why he won't be one of the Jets' starting safeties. But this is still a strong point for Adrian Amos. And from similar positions on the field, I'm happy to report that Adrian Amos is also a really good run defender. Why is that? Because his tackling is such a strength of his game. You can see number 31, left-hand side of your screen here, comes on a run blitz. Look how he shoots the gap, times the snap up perfectly, and bang, hit on Dalvin Cook, make the tackle for loss in the backfield. This is a fantastic job one-on-one against a physical running back. The reason he has success here is because of the timing of the run blitz. You can see number 72 from Minnesota, the left guard. He makes his combo block, looks to release and get to the second level. By the time he does that, Adrian Amos has already got skinny. He turns his shoulder, does a great job avoiding the block, avoiding contact, shooting the gap, and then being physical and stout in the hole against Dalvin Cook. This is fantastic. You love this from a Jets perspective, but once again, it's all happening within the box, and it doesn't really show off the coverage skills at the second level. We're going to get to that right now. So here's a snap from the same game. This is a positive Adrian Amos snap from a too high shell. It's going to be cover 4 here for the Green Bay Packers. I've circled him here there on the left-hand side of their formation. What I like about this from Adrian Amos is, again, the instincts and ability to read. He sees the Vikings run this switch release, does a really nice job opening up his hips, staying over the top of the number 1 receiver, but then they're going to switch back, and you see that the outside receiver breaks on this deep out route. He passes it off to Adrian Amos and then closes on this secondary receiver and nearly gets the interception. An excellent job understanding his role in the defense. Patient on the switch release, stays over the top, makes sure he has inside leverage, but then passes him off and closes on the number 2. Really nice feel from Adrian Amos in this deep cover 4 zone. Unfortunately, it just wasn't that frequent in 2022. He actually had a 46 PFF coverage grade, but this was one of the few times he really did excel deep in the field. But now we pivot to the negative from Adrian Amos's film in 2022, and as I prefaced, a lot of that came in coverage in too high shells. I'm not talking about being a free safety, but even in that strong safety role when playing middle field open. So here he is, left-hand side of the Packers formation. I'm going to let it roll at full speed. Keep your eye on the number 2 receiver on the left-hand side of the Vikings formation and how he just splits the middle of the safeties here with a post route, and it's because a lack of understanding and eye discipline from Adrian Amos, and look what it ends up in, a 60-yard gain for the Vikings. So where does it all go wrong? Off the snap, I think Amos does a really nice job getting into his side shuffle, gets good depth, and is in a good position. But the eye discipline and lack of awareness is where it falls apart. He doesn't see the number 2 receiver. He's got eyes on Kirk Cousins. He thinks this is going to be a breaking route underneath. He's trying to sit on some kind of speedo. It ends up being deep and over the top, and look how he gets caught underneath. This is his responsibility as the receiver breaks from left to right across the Minnesota Vikings formation. Amos steps up too much, is out of position, doesn't feel the receiver splitting down the middle field open, gets caught out of position, and then doesn't have the recovery makeup speed to make a play. This isn't good enough, and these kind of breakdowns were far too prevalent on the tape last season, unfortunately. That doesn't mean he can't bounce back, that Amos can't improve, but when it was cover 2 traditional safety play, I thought he really did take a step back last season. Here's another tough rep for Amos in a 2-high shell. You're going to see it ends up being a cover 6 look for the Green Bay Packers. Tyreek Hill, right-hand side of the Dolphins formation. Have a look off the snap how he gasses Adrian Amos. We've got a big gain right down the seam once again. Now, in fairness, I think Amos is right to expect a little bit of help from the middle field safety here. You're going to see that Jalen Waddle on the opposite side of the formation ends up breaking this route to the outside. You've got every right to believe the free safety is then going to backpedal, open up his hips, and provide you some help to the inside. But there's a big technical flaw here for Adrian Amos. You're going to see his transitional footwork is very clunky. When he goes from his back pedal to open up his hips, he loses a lot of speed in his transitional footwork, and that's what allows Tyreek Hill to burn him over the top. As I said, there's bigger issues and flaws here for the Packers defense, but I still want to see Adrian Amos be more fluent in his transition to open up his hips and to be able to run with someone like Tyreek Hill. Tough ask, probably a mistake from his safety here, but you want to see a little bit of a better effort from Adrian Amos. And once again, when they're in what looks like a 2-high middle field open shell, there's a big gain against the Green Bay Packers defense. And to finish, we're going to look at one more clip from the same game here against the Dolphins. Adrian Amos, 2-high shell, but this time he's actually bracketing Jalen Waddle, who's coming from the offensive left for the Miami Dolphins. As we let this roll, you're going to see Amos does a really nice job being patient. As Waddle tries to bring this route vertical, he does a nice job opening up his hips and staying with it. Then you get the double move from Jalen, foot in the ground, at the top of the route. Have a look at Adrian Amos. Good job. Matching and mirroring, getting his right foot in the ground, getting downhill, but right now he lacks aggressiveness. He should be driving. This is very clear, a deep in route. He's got to drive over the top and make a play on the football. He gets extremely passive. He wants to run just behind, matching and mirroring at 3 yards depth, and Jalen Waddle's too good at the catch point. I want to see Adrian Amos here, off the play action double move, put his foot in the ground and break, and get downhill and be aggressive and force Tua to throw the football elsewhere. He leaves the window open. You're going to see right now, read and react, foot in the ground, but I want to see him keep getting downhill right now. Not to break this off and to get lateral and to almost mimic and mirror Jalen Waddle, but to be aggressive and get downhill and look to take that ball away. Good job with his eyes, but a disappointing decision, and I want to see him be physical at the catch point. So there's the book on Adrian Amos and his 2022 season. When he was asked to be a traditional safety in 2-high shells, I thought he declined quite drastically. But some of his works as a traditional box strong safety really still stood up, and that's why I think he is going to be the perfect third safety for the Jets in these dime and nickel looks.